This week we're looking at lesson 26. Our new words this week are bringing in the G with the two different sounds. Where we have the j, which is a soft G sound, and that G makes that sound when it is followed by the letter E or I. Or there is the hard G, which is a g, and that is followed by any other letter besides the E or the I. So let's look at our new words here. We have germ, stage, gem. So all three of those have the soft G sound because they all have an E after the G. Then we have age. This one is glad, g. It's got that hard G sound. Urge, large, goose, grew, drug, gene, sponge. There is a rock and gem show in the city this week. What is the age of your dog? I would like a large serving of green beans, please. Use a wet sponge to clean up that spill. Let's look at some of our challenge words this week. We have ginger, disgust, target, sagebrush, greenhouse, stagecoach, Pacific, ginger snap. Our word parts that we're going to focus in on this week is ish, as in reddish. Our words done with word parts we have is our X as in exercise, con as in confirm, come as in complete, as in agreed, pro as in proceed, as in alert. Now we have some word parts at the end of our words. We have ish as in furnish, est as in wisest, meant as in torment, the L as in circle, shun as in attention, ish as in finish. And then we have the combinations of word parts at the beginning and the end. We have investment, helplessly, reduction, disrespectful. In our sight words we have is father, year, care, woman, any, there, talk, over, other, also. Our passage this week is called Hull House of Chicago. Part 1. When Jane Addams and Ellen Starr returned to Chicago, they rented a large old house called Hull House in a rundown part of Chicago. It was named Hull House because some people named Hall had owned it many years before. Addams and Starr then proceeded to clean, paint, and furnish the house. When they were finished, they urged poor people to come to Hull House for help. During the day, the people who worked at Hull House cared for children whose fathers and mothers were at work. There were also clubs for school-aged children to take part in after school. At night, there were concerts and plays for poor people to attend. Hull House was a good start, but Jane Addams wanted to do more. Part 2. Jane Addams discovered a lot about poor people and their lives. She knew that many changes had to be made so that their lives would be better. Working conditions were terrible. Many children, like adults, worked long, hard hours. Addams worked to get laws changed to limit children's working hours and to make working conditions better for all workers. She also knew that she could not make all the changes alone. During the next stage of her life, Jane Addams began to take on bigger projects. For example, a huge concern of hers was that women could not vote. She joined with other women to try to get the voting laws changed. Part 3. With the help of many other brave women, Jane Addams helped women get the right to vote in 1920. She also was the leader of the Women's Peace Party. This group wanted people to talk about their problems rather than fight. At the same time, Hull House continued to expand. People from all over came to see Hull House. When these people returned home, they began settlement houses like Hull House. Jane Addams was also an author. She wrote 20 Years at Hull House, which was published in 1910. Some years later, in 1931, the Nobel Peace Prize was bestowed upon Jane Addams. She had spent much of her life trying to make life better for many people. So go ahead and look at the pictures here below and put them in order according to Part 1, Part 2, or Part 3. So let's look at our fill in the blanks here for Part 1. We have number 1 says, what did Jane Addams and Ellen Starr call their settlement house? They called it, think back to what they called it, was Hull House. And it is begin with a capital H because it is the actual proper name of the house was Hall and was named after a family named Hall. So Hull House. And then do number 2. Part 2, number 3 says, what laws concerning children did Jane Addams work to change? She worked to change laws to limit children's, and hopefully you remember that had to do with working hours, how many hours kids could work, because kids used to actually have to work and not just go to school all day long. So working hours. And then go ahead and finish up with number 4. Part 3 says, when did women get the right to vote? So if you remember looking back as to what year it was, women got the right to vote in 1920. So you can see we're going to be coming on 100 years very soon. And then go ahead and finish up the rest of Part 3. For the next practice activity, it says read each story, underline the endings that make sense. Number 1 says, the jeweler had a large display case in his store. In the display case were, we have A, large jewels, B, lace dresses, or 3, strange gems. So if you look here at these choices, the jeweler probably has jewels in his display case. So we will say A, which is large jewels. So I'll write A on this line here, and I'm going to circle A over here too. And go ahead and finish up 2, 3, and 4. So for our last section here, we have to read the questions and then figure out which words go along with the question. So number 1 says, which words name fun places? So the first one we have is arcade. Yep, that's definitely a fun place. Amusement park. Yep, that works too. Then we have absence. Well, an absence isn't a fun place, so we'll cross that out. Dolphin, well, it's a fun animal maybe, but not a fun place. Circus, yeah, that's definitely a fun place to go. And a playground, that works too. So go ahead and read 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and figure out the answers that fit best with the questions. Well, way to go. Go ahead and finish up lesson 26 and then show me your work when you're all done.